G'day guys, this will be the story of the longest bike ride I've ever done, or I had ever done at the time. It was a 500 mile, 50 hour, 800 kilometer smash from Melbourne to Adelaide. It was pretty intense and we're going to go through it in this video. You see that I've got this beard right now. It's because I haven't left the house. Well, I have left the house, but I'm just feeling like a delinquent right now, so I'm trying to portray that I've been on some wild adventure, some wild experience, and I've got rugged, but in reality it's just a facade, guys. But this was an adventure and we're gonna see what happened. The backpack is in the post. Hopefully it arrives there. I got a next day delivery. We can have a mint shock clipper. Get these sleeves on, and then we're gonna roll. So we're trying to work our way out of Melbourne. We're going down these little paths, these bike trails, following I guess like rivers or canals or something. They're pretty scenic, a bit up and down, a few weird turnings here and there, but it wasn't too bad. It was pretty picturesque. I was feeling pretty good, a little bit apprehensive about how far I was going. It was my first like ride into sort of the countryside in Australia, so I was kind of apprehensive about what I was going to see, how hot it was going to be. Was I going to see like red sand? Was I going to see kangaroos? I hadn't seen any kangaroos at this point yet. Been in Australia for about a week. So yeah, I was feeling pretty good. After like a few hours of riding, probably, I ended up getting off the bike trails and more onto the sort of the bigger roads going in and out of Melbourne. And I was following a road towards Ballarat. Kind of scary getting onto the roads with all the fast cars, but it's just you get used to it like after a while. There was this one section where I was going downhill for ages and I'm riding the fixed gear bike and my legs are just like going crazy. Like, it's so weird riding fixed gear compared to a road bike, because when you're riding with a freewheel, when you're going downhill, it's like the best thing ever. When you're going downhill on a fixed gear, it's like you just want it to be over as soon as possible. You just want to be riding on flat ground. So that was a weird thing. And then I came to this ridge, like not a ridge, but there was this climb we had to get up to a higher elevation. There was this headwind, and you know, it was starting to grind on me. But yeah, eventually got to this top of this road. I kept riding, and the road ahead of me looked a bit weird, but I didn't really like think much of it. And then when I got closer, I saw a sign saying like gravel road ahead. And I was thinking, nah mate, because I was following the Google Maps suggested. I get to this road and it's gravel road. I'm like, no, because I'd already ridden up that hill, and to get back onto like following a highway or something, I'd have to do this huge. I'd have to go back downhill, go like a bunch of kilometers around, go back, do a climb again. It was already brutal enough. I just thought, you know, how far can it really be down the gravel road? It was kind of far. I was just hoping, you know, no punctures, don't slide over, don't crash. And yeah, then this happened. This is really like, we're still on the gravel, and I'll put in the name of the next town where it looks like it goes onto the main road again. It's like 11k still. I was trying to think of the positives, like, you know, it's an extra test. You know, we're out here, we might see snakes or something. It's the locals going by thinking, what the hell is this guy doing? I was going up this steep climb, or steep-ish, on the gravel, and my back wheel just slid out, so yeah, we've drawn some blood here. annoyingly I think one of my TT bars might be a little bit skew if. Plus these bolts are getting loose, and the annoying thing is those train going by. Because of the way I got this set up, it's like almost impossible to get to these bolts. So I don't know if this is going to drop off. Just right now in this gravel section, I'm just feeling like absolute crap. Plus it's baking hot. It's like the heat of the day is like 4 p.m. Right, let's try and sort my bike out, and then we'll get rolling. So I licked my wounds. My first crash. Yeah, it was a stupid crash. Like, and I felt sometimes you can like feel, you can sense something's gonna happen. So I knew that gravel track wasn't a good idea, but you know, it could have been worse. And then we ended up on a highway. It said highway, and I said freeway, and I was like, whoa, like this could be sketchy. As I'm heading down this freeway, I'm like kind of just in the zone. I had the GoPro, but you have to kind of assume something's going to happen to start filming, because you can't just have it filming constantly, because you run out of memory, you run out of battery. So if something suddenly happens, you just have to hope that you were filming. Anyway, so I'm riding, I'm in the zone, I look up and I see this like huge like shredded truck tire, and I'm like, end up actually hitting it. Kind of wobbled a little bit, but I didn't come off. But I was like, that like really like just like woke me up, and that was another near miss. So you're probably thinking, you're not a very good cyclist, and I'm starting to think maybe I'm not. We eventually got to Ballarat, which is this big town, and I got my first like proper servo petrol station, gas station, like drinks, refuel. I was drinking so much, it was so hot. It was probably like, I don't know what the exact temperature was, but it was 30 degrees plus Celsius for sure. And this is when the sun finally started setting, and I was actually really excited about the sunset. I was like, the sunset like always, I don't know, just inspires me, because I'm riding through the night is kind of enjoyable because there's less traffic, and you know, it just feels a bit more epic. It feels kind of like you're more like an odd person out. Like, why are you out there riding your bike in the middle of the night? So I was excited about sunset and just smashing a mile, seeing how far I could get. And there was this epic tailwind, like just epic tailwind, and I was flying. I was just like, I felt like I'd be like getting personal best 24-hour distance or something. It was just like, I felt on top of the world. Guys, we are out here, and we are an almost full moon. There's kangaroo signs around. We're getting it done. Feeling good now. I'm not sure of the exact distance to go. Hey, look how cool this is. I got my backlight with the bottles. It makes a crazy bottle light. Yeah. So guys, I was riding and I came across a thing. Look all these cockroaches, man. I've actually never seen cockroaches, but they're literally everywhere. There's so much energy here. But yeah, we just got some cokes. We're finally hitting the caffeine. I'm feeling a little bit sleepy, so I need to push through that sleepiness. Literally, I can just hear the sound of cockroaches hitting glass. It's crazy. Oh, you can see them flying. The cockroaches fly. Got to this gas station, and I think the name of the place was Skipton. Like at like 9:57 or something, and it was just pure luck. The gas station, the servo, was closing at 10, and I managed to buy a bunch of Coca-Cola. So eventually, after about 300 kilometers of riding, I've been riding all night. It was now 4:30 a.m. I got to this little town called Cavendish. And I was feeling sleepy. I thought I'd have a little like power nap, and I found this tiny little bench. And I thought, that looks so comfortable. That looks so beautiful to me. You know, I've been riding for 15 hours or something by now, so it just looked like just this glow around it of just perfection. Let my bike against the wall, go on this bench, tried to nap. Really didn't go very well. I think I had like 20, maybe 15 or 20 minutes of like sleep. It wasn't really sleep, it was kind of just like this stressful tired, painful, achy, on a bench in the heat in the middle of the night. And this funny thing happened when I eventually woke up. There was this woman going out for like an early morning dog walk with her dog on the other side of the road, and like as I sat up, she like saw me and she was like double took, like what the fuck? She thought I was dead or something. She was a body, so that was pretty funny. Said good morning to her, and then got rolling because we're trying to get to Adelaide here within 50 hours. We gotta go. This is when I really noticed that the stars were just like the most amazing thing. When you're riding your bike, you're like always just looking ahead, so you don't really like look up very often. But like I just like looked up and like, oh man, it's just the most amazing stars I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever had like as clear of an image of the stars as that first night, and like, oh, just I can see it right in my eye. I can see it burn into my eyes right now. It's just so beautiful. Little update: we are 275k in 14 hours. I think 14 hours elapsed. I'm having my second big-ish break. I have some Coke and ginger biscuits. Eventually we had sunrise. I think this is when I saw my first kangaroos. I might have thought I saw kangaroos during the night, but they were just like shadows. But this is when I first saw my first ever kangaroos in the morning, like jumping into the bushes, and I realised they're actually really, really timid. I rolled into this little town called Balmoral, and there was a store that had just opened, and I mean the selection wasn't great. I think I just had crisps for breakfast or a little refill. Sat around for a bit. It actually rained for like 2 minutes, which was a bit weird, and kept going. Saw some orange sand for the first time, which was like really enjoyable, and it's like, Australia, dude, Australia! And that's when the wind hit. The average speed I was riding at went down to like 16 kilometers an hour, 10 miles an hour. That was the most I could do. It was the most I could push. I was riding a 48-19 gear ratio, which is pretty light, but I had my kit with me and I was doing such long distance. The roads were not like perfectly flat. It wasn't like those iconic long straight flat outback roads, but it wasn't necessarily hilly. But this wind was just sucking my soul, and oof, it was tough. Eventually I got to this town called Edenhope. They had a store. I sat down there, I fueled up again. I now had 411 kilometers in the bag. We were over halfway, or just about halfway, to Adelaide from Melbourne. That was kind of a morale boost of sorts. It was almost 24 hours since I left Melbourne at this point, so I was feeling pretty drained. This wind was like making me feel like my whole life was over. If I was doing 16 kilometers an hour, this was going to take a long time, and I didn't want to even consider just how long that is to physically endure pushing yourself. And I was starting to contemplate, like, maybe I won't do it in one hit, maybe I'll just sleep somewhere on the side of the road for like 8 hours or something. But I was mentioning Abdullah. You guys might know Abdullah. He was planning to meet me 200 kilometers outside of Adelaide. So he was going to do a 400k ride, 200 out to meet me and then 200 back with me. I'm telling him like, oh, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it, dude. Like, this is too brutal. And then he's telling me stuff like time doesn't exist, which I found really funny. That's Abdullah. So it was good to communicate with him. I swallowed my pride. I pushed on. I got to the South Australia border. About 26 hours since I left Melbourne now. That was a real boost. So I needed to get to the next town across Narracoorte, I don't know. And once I got to there, we headed north. That was a morale boost as well, like kind of like changing direction, getting out the wind. Ended up onto this highway heading north. It was pretty cool. Google Maps then suggested these weird side roads, so I went down these long straight roads across farmlands. I wouldn't have recommended doing that now because it then took me onto these really bumpy roads, which I eventually didn't listen to Google Maps, and I got back onto the highway as fast as I could. wasted some time there, and all this stuff is piling onto me. Like, it's already epic. It's already not even epic. It's already just difficult enough to try and ride 800 kilometers in one hit. And you don't need headwinds. You don't need gravel. You don't need crashing. You know, you don't need all these things. All these things are happening to me, and I was just thinking, if I can get through this, then like this like race across Australia is going to be like not a piece of piss, but it's going to be like considerably easier because I'm not going to be pushing myself this hard. And then sunset came, and I was finding it so hard at this point. You know, I'd ridden through one whole night, and now the second night was starting, and I'd had this 15-minute, 20-minute nap on a bench. I was meshing Abdullah, saying I could see shapes in the road, humans, kangaroos. I don't know what I was seeing. I think I was seeing like the dashed lines. Like occasionally in my mind would think it was like a kangaroo shadow or a human, or like the bushes were humans or something. And I'd never felt like this on a bike before. Like, I was really like on the limit of what I'd ever done. So I came to this like area called Willalooka. It was like a little town, or it had like a place to park and stuff. 32 hours, 15 minutes sleep, 550 kilometers in. I just laid down on this piece of concrete, and it was kind of I think it was kind of chilly actually, but I think I had about maybe 45 minutes of sleep there, maybe 40 minutes. So then we kept pushing on, and this is an area where the roads are actually really flat and really straight. And this is the first time I experienced the thing where you could see truck lights for like 4 kilometers ahead, 4 kilometers back, and it like really played with my mind, seeing a truck go by, seeing the tail lights for like 5 minutes, and then they disappear, and then thinking, I'm going so much slower than that truck, and it took that truck that long to get to the next like little kink in the road. So how long is it going to take me to get there? And then you get to that kink, and then the same thing happens again. I'd almost met up with Abdullah. I was just looking ahead, waiting for his little cycling light ahead. Hey mate, can you get a move on, mate?
You made it. You made it. I never thought I'd see you, dude.
Fancy seeing you out here, mate.
Fuck.
Great place, great time for a ride, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like tracking your location, dude.
So we cruised down the highway together. It's great. I've met Abdullah before. We've hung out before in London, so it was just great to see him like just in the middle of this huge ride. Like he's just here, just on the highway in the middle of the night. It was just the most ludicrous thing. And we got to this roadhouse in Tintinara, 620 kilometers in, almost 37 hours since I left Melbourne. And we just stocked up on the food there. We were eating potato cakes, we were eating chips.
Oh, alas. Abdullah? We're out here, we're riding, we're eating potato cakes.
So we spent about 2 hours just chilling in this roadhouse, and eventually we're like, we got to do the kilometers, we've got to get to Adelaide, we're not going to get anywhere just sitting here. So we pushed on. Sun came up, it was awesome, and then yeah, we were less than 100 kilometers to go.
Fuck out in a weird way. That dude, he's on Facebook, man. I've seen.
Who? Who is it, man?
I can't be fucking talking shit now.
To get into Adelaide, you have to climb up quite a lot, and then it's like a big descent into Adelaide. Coming down those descents into Adelaide just felt epic. Like, you could see the city, you could get glimpses of the city, and it just felt amazing for this ride to be almost over. I'd been riding for 50 hours now, over 800 kilometers, 500 miles, and I'd had a total of maybe an hour and a half of naps, very bad naps on the concrete floors and benches and chairs put together in roadhouses. But I'd made it, and it was truly epic.
My hands hurt, my feet hurt, my knees hurt, my throat hurts, my teeth hurt. Everything pretty much hurts.
And I think I fell asleep in the living room sofa with everyone just making the most crazy noise because it was the evening for them, and for me it was like conking out time. But yeah, that was the biggest ride I'd ever done. And to be honest, it still is the longest ride I've ever done. The biggest ride, like point to point, in like one smash pretty much. Although I did do a pretty long ride around Australia, and you're going to find out about that. So subscribe, cheers for watching, hope you liked the content, boom boom boom.